How do you make sense of the world you live in? Is there one governing idea, for example, God, humanity, science, or reason, or a set of ideas that can explain everything about the world? The word ideology refers to such a set of ideas. Its earliest usage referred to how ideas or knowledge form the ground in which our place in the world becomes meaningful. These ideas most often get attached to a particular group, forming a prescriptive way of thinking and doing. These groups can be based on such things as nation, class, gender, race, disability, and sexuality, or even one's religion, profession, or political allegiances. For Karl Marx, the ideas and knowledge we develop about the society we live in depends on the material conditions of our social existence. For Marx, the conditions of our existence shape our ideas of ourselves, not the other way around. So, the era into which we are born, the state of technology, form of governance, the place of our birth, our socio-economic position in society, the state of gender, race and sexuality relations, and so on, will shape how we can make sense of ourselves, of others, and the world in which we live. Because we live in a world where some groups are more dominant and powerful than others, the practices we engage in that arise from these societal relationships tend to normalise and naturalise patterns of inequality. This is to say, ideas about society attached to dominant, more powerful groups, such as those who own the resources, tools, machinery, and other material used for cultivating and reproducing our world, operate in such a way that common sense assumptions about the natural order of things tend to serve their interests. This suggests that knowledge about the social arrangements of society are interwoven with power relations. In other words, the idea that capitalists are naturally more clever than workers and more deserving of wealth because they take risks suppresses the historical circumstances in which such relations of production emerged. We notice other examples of ideology at work operating through ideas such as men being more rational than women, white people more intelligent than black people, heterosexuals more stable than non-heterosexuals, and able-bodied people more competent than disabled people. In all these cases, inequality and disadvantage are framed as natural and inevitable rather than historically produced and contestable. Ideology is at work whenever the order of things is naturalised as common sense. While we might observe how assumptions about the social order of class, gender, race, sexuality, disability and other markers of difference get naturalised, this does not mean that ideology is all-encompassing or uniform. Even within a dominant ideology, there may be conflicting positions. For example, a capitalist view of the world might be grounded in liberal ideas of self-interest and profit motives, but this does not mean that capitalist ideology is totally averse to welfare or the production of public goods. It is also important to remember that dominant ideologies get contested and resisted. For example, socialism contests capitalism, feminism contests patriarchy, and all sorts of marginal people and social movements contest the powers that be. What remains useful about the term ideology is its capacity to challenge the process in which certain ideas operate with an air of common sense. A common sense that refuses to question its own premises is in danger of hardening into a force of oppression.